the camera's kind of far. Whew. That was a workout. For all my gym heads, I know no one's joined the stream yet. How was that form? How was it? Oh, what's up, man? Nah, but all seriousness, let me just change the camera angle. Let's put it up a little bit, give it a little bit of headroom. Um, all seriousness, uh, yeah, there's no seriousness. What was I don't know what I was gonna say. I just want to show you the project. Sure, every day's a new day hanging out with me. But I just wanted to continue on this. So if anybody was able to see in a week period, literally 1 week, this pad was built, the shed was decided on, ordered, and put together. I'm not even responsible for the whole thing. I'm responsible for a little bit of it. I like to hear a joke. Something tells me that's not going to be the best joke, but the chat is what you get to do. Um, and now I'm gonna just do my rough cuts or just try to talk through this project if anybody wants to hear. I have these 4x4 posts that came off of my chicken run early in the spring season. I posted a bunch of videos. I demolished this original chicken run that I definitely overbuilt, and now I have a bunch of. In fact, the wood comes from an old shed, so I just keep moving it on up the ladder, and that's who we are. So in this video, I just wanted to start making some rough cuts because the foundation of you didn't put the joke in the chat, man. You said you wanted the joke, and I said sure, and you put the joke in the chat. That tells me you knew your joke was bad. But so this shed, brand new. Still don't know how I feel about it yet. Is it's okay. It's the metal's pretty cheap. That was okay because I didn't want something if I had to take it down and we'll just be working with some really heavy materials. But the biggest problem I think is, and I didn't really, when I purchased it, I didn't think this part through where I was gonna have to um, mount it to anything. Uh, I don't even think inside the kit did there come anything to mount. And I built like a brick pad. I didn't know what I was gonna buy yet. And sure, I could maneuver the pad and get all heavy duty, but I think with this, not having full, it's not out in the open. It's not gonna get wind from every direction. It's a pretty interesting channel here, and there is I guess, some wind block from the trees. I'm not really concerned that the shed is going to fly away, but the two things that I wanted to do, and anybody got a comment, I do read my comments and I'll be able to interact with you. The thing that I wanted to explore and what I'm going to be doing my rough cuts for now is I don't really like the height of this edge because as you can see and this is a little bit up high for me. But if I stand at the same level, you can already tell that this is going to be very annoying to go in. So one of the benefits of doing what I'm about to do is uh, that I'm going to be able to go up a little bit higher. I'm going to leave the floor as is. So I'm going to go up, it'll be like 3.5 inches. Let me just go get a size of this post so you can kind of see it better. I have a ton of small. I got a Kanye graduation rocking out right now in the background, so you might have heard that. But so this is roughly um, this, a little bit more damaged. Um, that's totally fine. I'll get back to that if I do. So yeah, so my plan is to literally mount this to a rectangle foundation, and I'm confident that since it's brick, there's still enough air and water channels so that the floor can stay pretty much dry on the inside. I'd have to watch it when we get massive snow events. I'd have to watch to see if that makes a difference. But yeah, let's get started. So I made sure I had some safety equipment today because I don't usually. It depends. It depends on the day. I always stay safe, but when you get on camera, sometimes you want to make sure you're really safe because people be worried about you. So this piece, I feel a way about cutting it, obviously, because you see how tall it is. I don't have a truck or anything, so I want to say it's 14 feet, if I remember correctly. What side did I want? I want the shorter side. I want to say it's 14 feet. But like I said, if you have a question about what I'm doing, other than that, I'm gonna just get to work. So this side is longer. So this morning I came out here and I got my measurements of the pad. So I'm working with 74.5 inches by 48 and 3/8. So from here, I'm just gonna cut off. I want to get there's like a notch on this side. I just want to have the wood to be as true as it can. So I'll go from the notch. So there's no need for measuring this first go around. I just wanted to make sure that I was on the bigger side. My blade is not going to go through this. This says 2 1/4. So I don't have to worry about where I'm doing this from right now. So just using a square. So I got a bunch of staples in here. It's all a bunch of type of stuff going on. That's the thing when working with a lot of the old wood. You just never know. Did that go wrong, huh? By no means am I an official carpenter or anything. I just do what I do, to be honest with you. So my choices here, since this doesn't go through all the way, I brought out Japanese knife, which I like using. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty relaxing, and it does give clean cuts in not much time. Right now, I put this in the wrong spot. I was supposed to do it this way so that the overhang was in the right place. I like to make my all of my silly mistakes are okay to make in the beginning. That's uh, that's how that works. So again, I'm using make sure you can see exactly what I'm doing. It's something with a nice stinger on top of the tripod. You're ready to see it falling. Now, in one way, I'm kind of using this the wrong way because this table is not really grounded. Okay, that's not what I want. Let's see if we can clean it up. Alright, so before I do anything else, let's just see if we can get it to break off. So the choices here, pretty simple. I could just use the knife. It's really just like hairy. Alright, that's a pretty straight down cut. I actually, now that I have smaller materials to work with, I'll just do it that way. So this is our cut side for now. And see, I got a bunch of damage on this. Could be fire, could be water, who knows? Excuse me. Did I not put on my mask? I don't think I put on my mask. That sneeze was a wake-up call. So put your damn mask on. Okay, so from the clean cut side, we're going for 74.5 inches. Now, no real precision needed here, but I'm gonna need 2 of these. So even though I don't have to be super precise. What I do want to make sure is that both of the cuts are equal. So if they end up, instead of 74.5, if they end up 74 and 3/8 or 74 and 5/8, at least they're the same length. That's at least the goal. So now I can shift all this over, and it's just a little overhang, so the weight will be fine. If you have any questions about what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, if you just joined, by all means. I don't think I really got to start over. Haven't really gotten started. Okay, nice, simple, clean cut. And like I said before, since I now could control this a little bit better, I'll just use the knife to get the rest of it off. It's a little bit harder with my table. My table's moving, so when the knife wants to cut, it's not cutting. Oh, Hey, what's up? So, even though it seemed like it wasn't doing much, nice sharp cut. When I, let me just see who put that comment in real quick. Hey, Gaming. Uh, if I were to use my blade, because this is like a rinky-dink skill saw, sometimes maybe if I'm moving it a little bit, the blade may not be as straight. So I tend to, especially if I'm making these smaller cuts and they're a little bit forgiving, I tend to not worry about um, flipping it over and then using this again, because it won't line up perfectly as good as just using the Japanese knife to finish it off. Okay, so now let's measure. Okay, so we are within, I'd say we're within 1/100th of for sure of 74.5 inches. So I think that's all good there. So we'll do the same thing um, with the next piece. What I could do is, the next piece is gonna be a little bit interesting because I think I'm keeping the notch on the next piece. Like I said, if you have a comment or you want to know what I'm doing, I can just go over it real quick without a problem. Let me just get this. Woo. And this is not why I'm tired. I was just mowing some lawn with a push mower. So I made, hopefully you can hear me clearly, I made this pad last week. This is a brick. You can see me, there's a brick pad, and this shed went up yesterday. Between yesterday and the day before, my wife actually did most of the putting it up. Uh, we weren't working well together, but she finished it off, and it looks amazing. She did a really good job. And the only problem with the shed is that, not really a problem, but two things I was challenged with. One is, when I researched this, the top height of the shed, I'm pretty much the same height as the top height. And then, there's a beam inside that's sitting there, and I'm not able to really get inside and be comfortable. And then I'm also ducking the whole time. So I'm not going to spend much time inside the shed, but I think that's going to get old pretty fast. And then the other problem that I'm trying to solve for is the shed is not attached to anything, and I could freely move it around. So all we need is a pretty hefty wind storm event to move the shed around. Probably, maybe it'll knock everything off the shelf. Maybe it'll be displaced. Who knows? But there are holes on the inside of the foundation base, which is metal, and I'm building this as a pad to attach to it, so it'll also lift up these 3.5 inches, which don't sound like much, but I think will be a lot more than me ducking like this. And then in 20 years, if you guys see me looking like this, that's probably the reason why, is because I held on to this shed, which was supposed to be temporary, and then freaking 10 years later, you still have it, and you don't want nobody to touch it. So who knows where this goes, but this is the first piece that I was able to cut. This piece, I actually could have showed it to you this way. Let me just close the door. block on the top and the bottom. Don't keep saying, I don't like this, I don't like that. So why did you buy the darn thing? Well, I really needed to solve this, get my tubes out of the weather. And I refuse to buy new tubes because I feel like I've done a poor job of keeping my own tubes. Okay, so ideally, I'm just looking at how it measures. Yeah, it's literally like within a thousandth of an inch. A thousandth of an inch, a hundredth of an inch. It's literally like right there. So that's gonna be underneath that. So that was the first cut. And then with the off cut of that, I just gotta do a little bit of math, which I'm pretty good at math, but you know, sometimes when you're doing these projects, you could forget what you're trying to measure for. So I have a total distance of the depth going back, and I just need to subtract that depth by 2 of these, which are 3.5, or 3 and 7/16, so I'm actually gonna do 7/16. So this is long enough to go that way. Before I cut that though, I like to just do the cut, the same cut twice, and then I'll do the other cut twice instead of going back and forth, back and forth. So thanks for liking the stream. Like I said, I do a bunch of different projects. I got chickens, I got worms. Apparently, I'm here showing that I can still bend and that. I don't go to the gym at all, but I do this work outside, and my grip is still strong. Okay, so I was telling you one of the problems, not problems, but one of the compromises with this piece that I was gonna have to make was that there's a notch here. And there's a notch here because this was literally on the ground, and I made this notch. It's actually a pretty nice looking notch for what I was doing, what I was using it for. And this notch allowed for me to create a beam going straight up with a 2x4. So let's get the longer side from the notch. And since I'm gonna end up cutting both sides, I just need to go longer than 74. So I already thought this through, that because once you have too many imperfections, they're not gonna cause any problems. I mean, I still got nails and staples all in here. They're not gonna cause any problems, but why not put this at the back so that you don't have to mentally have that, like, you know, hurdle. So let me just look at the end of this, how much I want to cut it off, because the ends sometimes are more split than others. But I also want to be able to use the rest of this. I'll just be done with the deep board. So if I'm going 74.5, this one will be in the back. So I'll just go to 76. And that'll be good enough. No questions? Hope everyone's having a good Sunday. As we know, the New York Knicks have overcome. So congrats to all the fans. I was thinking about putting out some videos historically about my relationship with the New York Knicks. Haven't decided on that, dealing with a mask again, but it should be fine. That's the other thing. When I'm outside, and this is not an excuse for anyone, you know, I'm definitely not saying this is a way to do this. Do what works for you. Sometimes I do, when I forget or I'm a little bit neglecting of a project, I do, you know, I'll have some dust issues. In a severe case, I have had extended allergies, potentially a sinus infection. So but I'm really outside, and I don't usually get problems with that. But once I switch over to this tool, so I'm working harder, which is good because I need to cancel my gym membership anyway. Um, but the cool thing then is it's also a really sharp cut, and then there's not as much dust particles being put into the ear. And who knows what kind of, who knows when this wood was created. I think there's a tag on one of them. But if I had to say, I think this wood is, based on the house being more than 40 years old, I think the wood came with the house. Last time I did the cut, the long cut, it kind of cracked off, and that's because I don't have anything weighted on this side. But I'm favoring my table not getting all cut up and just on like the last cut. So I'm gonna go to the other side. Okay, I'm gonna go to the other side and see if we can kind of balance out that and have less splitting. And do a better job of holding the weight. Like I said, I don't like the. I could do this on the floor. This is a really long piece of wood. Pause. Hear it. Little splitting, literally at the end. I'll just. And that little trick just prevented a bunch of peeling. I'll show you what that looks like. So, end just chipped and peeled just a little bit. Again, that's cool because this is the notch side. So I'll put this on the inside, not at the bottom. Because if I put it at the bottom, I literally just created a hole for Speedy Gonzalez to go through. And I don't think I'd like to have a whole family of Speedy Gonzalez's. If you know Speedy Gonzalez. If you don't, this would be a nightmare-sized hole for rodents. So I definitely will make sure that that's on the inside. So it's really, it can't go this way. It can't go to the bottom. It can't go to the outside because then it'll show. And I don't want it to show. So it literally has one way to go. Which sounds restricting, but there's a science to that kind of restriction. When you go to your big box, your wholesale stores, they do the same thing. They limit you on your options so that you can make a decision. I didn't see the joke either, man. Hey, Rex. Sure, what's the joke? What happened, Rex, was I said, sure, but I'm pretty sure if you wanted to put a joke in, stream just started, I'm pretty sure the joke was going to be horrible. The last few times I've had that same exact, you want to hear a joke? It was really so that I could read something out loud that was very offensive. Lesson learned. At least I could get away with what I said because of who it was offending. I'm a part of that group, and I could at least, that would have been really bad if it was someone else. But we live in this clippable world, and you never know. Okay, so you can see See, the weight is key, is trying to get it to do that. So that's fine. I got my line. I use a smaller pencil now, acting like I'm gonna have way more precision, but I don't care. Well, hey, before I do this, so this piece matters more than most because I don't have any more 13, 14 feet. I don't have any more 4x4 posts that's laying around that are in good condition, that have survived, that are older than me. I guarantee you this piece of wood is older than me. I don't have any more of those. So one, I would have to go to the store if I jack this piece up, which would suck. But the other thing is the wood wouldn't be of the same character. So if I don't want to paint this, at least I'm using the same wood. I may be tempted to, let me just go make it nice and buy, what am I doing? 74 inches. So I would need, it's 84. I would need to pull off when I'm doing at least 3 8-foot boards or 2 12-foot boards. So I'm gonna measure twice, cut once. And that looks good, 74 and a half. And we'll see. I'll let you be the judge as to did both pieces come together and be the same exact or very close. You know, I ain't working with the sharpest blade. For anyone who's never done any of this, my only advice to you is slow down. That's it. Just slow down. Slow down. Whether that's go do some research, feel comfortable with all the tools that you're working with. This, out of all these tools, I got a drill over here. I got the skill saw right here. I got this Japanese knife. I don't want this thing to get out of control. It's super bendy. It's a beautiful tool, but some of the most beautiful things could cause the most damage. So it's not that I have to use gloves around it. I just think that sometimes when I use this, what's happening is happening so fast that you just don't have as much control as you think. So I do slow down. See, I got to the bottom, right? So that's gonna cause me to want to go to the other side, to at least get to the bottom. And I'm not doing nothing crazy. Still a lot too much movement from my table. We'll solve that in the future. When I first started using a Japanese saw, it was to be cool, and now it was because the proof is in the pudding. So that last cut, I'm always super afraid of all that. But that's what it did, and that's quite nice. And now this piece of wood is going to keep living. It doesn't have much insect damage. I said, I don't know if that's water, fire, who knows, man. But it's still living, it's still alive. So I told you we could measure the two together. So I'll go get one piece, the first piece that we cut. I didn't know how long the stream was going to be. I was just kind of going with the flow. So thanks for sticking around if you have. like the stream. I don't beg for likes. People say it helps. I tell you what, I do think it helps, but for whatever reason, people in the way we're using the internet culture, we have come to the point where even the things that are free that you could do for people, you're not willing to. So, no different than society, right? All right, so I'm gonna put these up against one another, and we'll see how good they look. I mean, there's a noticeable. I mean, the other thing is that these boards are not super. They're not the most straight. They're not straight like they just got milled and dried. But I actually think they are exactly the same. But there's staples in between, so I can't really put them up against each other. Carolyn, what's up? Carolyn, you see my shed? My shed is up now, right? So these two boards, I don't know. I don't know if I want to play Superman and lift them together because they are pretty heavy, but okay. Okay. So these two boards are good cuts. They're gonna go in the front, one in the front, one in the back. We're gonna do some math now. Okay, without hurting my hands, we're gonna do some math now and figure out what the next cuts are. And if you wanna talk, tell me what's going on. I'll give a little review again of what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and then we can figure out if we want to end the stream or not. But thanks for hanging out. If you have, like I said, like the stream. I didn't get a joke, but it's okay. All right, so let me just, so 48 and 3/8. I hope I measured that correctly. It seems odd that the other one ended on a half. So that's going this way. And this piece of wood, I threw a test piece. So this test piece, I'm gonna throw it again, so don't, I like throwing stuff, that's okay. This test piece is just to show you a post that's considered a 4x4 post, but it's not actually 4x4. It's, oh, this is a 3.5. Okay, so let's go with a 3.5. I don't know if there was some swelling. Let's just go with 3.5 to make it easy. So 3.5 times 2 is 7. So I need 7 inches minus the distance to go this way. So that's pretty easy. So it's 48 and 3/8. So minus 7. So of course we get 41 and 3/8. So if I cut that correctly, I would have my sides and going this way. I don't have any immaculate terms for this. Okay, just checking the comments. I got the camera far enough where I wanted you to see all that I was doing, but not far enough. Not close enough to really see, especially with these glasses on. I just found these glasses. It's been like a month. I've been looking for these. Not that they're not even expensive, but I just like the way they fit, and I always struggle. One day, when I grow up and I become a real carpenter slash woodworker slash homesteader slash welder, and I do it all, I'm gonna have the type of glasses that don't fog up. I'm a sweater, and I sweat, and then I'm in the middle of a project, and I'm like, and at that moment, I'm supposed to be following like a line, straight line, and that's the hardest part because the glasses always fog up. Didn't hurt. No one got hurt me throwing that. Okay, so this is the piece from the first cut. As you can see, got a little wafer on there. That'll be very easy. Don't bring out your power tools unless you consider this a power tool. Don't bring it out. So I'm gonna switch over. I don't even know why I'm touching this, but I'm gonna switch over to the smaller side, and I'm gonna actually. Uh, okay. So I did take a little chance. I just needed to hug the wood, so I was able to. There's no tricks there. I guess part of why I'm showing this and I want to show this, some of my favorite channels, um, I don't know, sometimes they don't get into the weeds of it when they do their lives, or it's more like topic based on what's going on in the world. But I like the company. I do like the company, but I want to show people that, people always try to down themselves. Even I could do it. Nope, 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 nope. I had to realize that. I was a really smart math student growing up, and like super smart. Like I feel like if I was in the right environment and somebody were to tap on those, or pull on those heartstrings, who knows where things would have went. And I see my math skills. I see it like continuing to come back. I have an estranged relationship with math because I was so good that I finished math really early. And when I had my trials and tribulations in school as a whole, math was one of the things that I finished. And then when I got to college, because I did so well in math and my scores were so high, and I didn't major in anything that was in more of a real science-based field, like math and sciences, like a bachelor of science. I didn't have a requirement to take any sophisticated math, so it's been a very long time. And when I got into computer science or being a developer, that's when I started to reapply some of the math skills, and then now with doing the homesteading, or just, I don't know, maybe there's a more proper word for what I do. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get the camera. There's literally something with a stinger hanging out right there. I find myself applying those skills again, and it feels good. It's hard to explain. And I say all that to say, everybody. Karen, sorry, I don't know why the stream blew. Let me just make sure I'm on the right internet. Wow. Did I just read that right? I'm on ultra wideband. That's awesome. I'm so sorry. Hopefully people come back in here. Do you ever relax? Or are you always doing something? Karen, I don't know if you're going to come back to this answer or if you're still there. I will relax one day. My sister asked me, Carolyn, first let me know if you're here. I don't want to go off on a tangent. The stream just kind of. Okay. Now I'm back. Carolyn, just tell me if you could hear me. I just my mic kind of turned off too. I don't know, man. I have to do a whole investigation. that I ain't got time for right now. But if you can just tell me if I'm back, 676767, I hear you. Do you hear me, 67? You can hear me, great. Okay. I got excited for 1 second because I was getting Verizon Ultra Wideband right here. I don't really know where any of my connections are, so I'm not on Wi-Fi right now, and I'm just learning about just my property and where can I go and not before I try to improve my internet. I don't know if somebody inside my house decided to turn something off. So that's also possible, but I'm not getting the ultra wideband right now. So I'm sorry if the service isn't I don't want to say perfect, but yeah. So what I was saying was my sister. What did she ask me yesterday? Oh, she asked me. I was telling her about some business idea that has been kind of hanging around in the back of my head, and she asked like, what's stopping me from doing it? Like, not a long answer. And my answer was very simple. It was a lot of the projects that I work on, like this, without doing them, I have so much scattered. It's like broken glass, scattered, and no one wants to pick it up. So, uh, I'm aware of it, and I'm also aware that I was a part of breaking the glass. So there's definitely an accountability. And when I think of new things, a lot of times I don't know if I'm running from fixing the problem that I created, or if there's actually like, something to it that I could just shift. So I try to, thanks, Carolyn. Actually, I would say I built 25% of it. My wife came out here, didn't listen to me, and continued to build it, but she got it done, and that's what you have to live with. It ain't about how something comes sometimes. So whether or not we agreed on what the plan was, she did it, and I'm happy for her because I have, thousands of things literally at this point that I could look at and say, I put my hands on that and look how, and I get, I get a feeling back from that. She's able to get a feeling back. And, but Carolyn, you did say, that's right. You asked, do I ever take a break? And yes, I do. I do take breaks, but breaks are hard because when you take a break, it's like work. I'm the type of person that I have. Just want to see. She did a good job. Thank you. I'll tell her you said that. I learn really fast, right? I'm a fast learner. It's a proper term. I'm a fast learner. So when I go to a job, shake your hand. Hi, I'm Darnell. You say, hi, we're company. Uh, we can't wait for you to come on and learn learn the job. I say, great. They say, there's so much room for, improvement once you learn those little things. So I go on the job. It becomes very easy. And I go back to them and I say, you said if I learn this, there will be more. And they say, huh? I can't hear you. What'd you say? Oh, sorry. I gotta go to my next meeting. But I'm a very fast learner. I pick up on little things. So when I'm at work, I tend to own a lot of things. I don't want to use the word authority because I don't have any authority in a sense of how we look at jobs and corporate anything. But I tend to have authority on, technically as a developer, I'm what's considered an individual contributor. I have ownership of the things that I contribute, right? And sorry for those real carpenters out there who are making a mockery of this just simple cutting. I'm not where I want to be with. I focus on stuff getting done the right way, and not speed, and it ain't always about, it's about slowing down. So that's one cut. We got one more left. So yeah, I take breaks, but even there's a pressure to take a vacation, and what ends up happening is you come back from vacation and a lot has stalled and you have even more work when you come back because nobody can do what you do. And you can give me all the strategies you want. At the end of the day, I've been excelling so long that this is just where I put myself. Alright, so I have to actually make two cuts. This was clearly a notch, and I just pulled whatever was out of there. I do wish I had a drink out here, but I'll figure that out. Maybe we'll end the stream and I'll go get hydrated. But how's everyone doing out there? How's Sunday going for you? I guess I did my last demo. I'm just making a platform